Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, welcome black to In Black America Radio. This is Rasta B. You got my co-host Smoke. You in the building, Smoke?
Yo, one time.
And today we're talking about, today's title is called Why Are Black Americans Disproportionately Dying from the Chinese Communist Party Virus? We're going to be talking about that. We're going to pretty much break that down and talk about other stories in relation to In Black America. I mean, really in Black America, yeah. The guest calling number is 516-531-9992. So what's going on, Smoke? It's another Friday with more people in the crib than outside. Man.
Dodging that Rona. That's all.
Yo, the restrictions is getting heavier.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was out earlier because I was off today because of the, we got furloughs at our job. Just run around, grab a couple things to drink. I had to do some stuff. And I'm riding with Fat Boy. So his mom's like, yo, she wanted to go to Aldi's. We go to Aldi's. Well, we was at the store earlier before that. There wasn't no restrictions in that store. They was like, the normal stand 6 feet away type shit or whatever. I did see something that said 50 people in the store, but they wasn't enforcing that. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. We go in that store, cool. His mom's called, she needs something. So we go to that store. Long story short, the line is wrapped around the corner because they only let 5 people in the store at one time. So it was like, I can just imagine like people in there, they gonna be taking their time. You in the store dolo, you like, oh shit, I can take my time. So it's like we didn't even wait, but I could imagine if if we had to go in there, it was something that she really didn't need, at that given time. So it wasn't like we had to go in there, but I can imagine somebody who had to make that trip inside that store at that time. That shit was long as hell. So yeah, those are those restrictions. There's gonna be a headache, if you gotta go to those type stores, and it's pretty much like a lot of the essential stores that are open. So a lot of these is like the big chain stores, Walmart, like Lowe's, your home repair stuff. And a lot of people doing home repairs now. I noticed that. So it's like having to wait. This is where the hassle comes in. Having to wait to go inside the store. They already have a restriction for the elderly, which is good for older people. But, if you're trying to get out out and about early in the morning before the crowds, you can't even get in the stores before 10 o'clock if you're not 60 or something like that. Whatever that age range is. So they let all of the older folks come in, and they could, as soon as the store's open, they could go and shop and move around. Everybody else got to wait. Until 10 o'clock or whatever the time frame is. So, you got to be more prepared if you definitely got to go out and hit these stores. You got to, try to get them early. So it's going to get a little more hectic.
Yeah, I'm not really even moving around and shaking like that to them stores. You know what I'm saying? I let my girl handle all of that. I ain't really got the patience for that silly shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not wearing no damn mask. I don't give a damn about your 6 feet distance bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking inside there like a stormtrooper. I'm walking in. I'm passing you. I'm grabbing my fucking shit. I'm going to the damn self-checkout line. I'm checking out, and I'm going home. I ain't paying attention to none of that bullshit. So to avoid any bullshit, I just let my girl handle all that.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, thankfully, I really haven't had to. I'm working from home, and I haven't really had to go out. We got food and shit like that in the crib. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much been like once a week that I end up popping out. Unless I got to go see Mom. So I had to go do something for her earlier. So, but yeah, I've been trying to avoid all of that. So I can stay away from the crowds.
Yeah, I feel you on that shit, man. But me, I'm looking at it, man, and again, I'm looking at the propaganda and shit going on in the news, the fear and the scare tactics. Because at the end of the day, I look at shit like this. I'm like this. You got to listen to what's being said. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, what I notice in the news is they like to pump us with fear. True indeed, we know that already. But they like for us to look at a story through the eyes of the weak. You know what I'm saying? So they got us now talking about, oh, okay, black people said that they're not dying from the coronavirus. Okay. We about to show y'all some shit. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing about this shit is, it's like, the shit that's killing black people from the coronavirus is the shit that always killed black people higher than other racial groups. And as we like to say, our white counterparts. You know what I'm saying? So I got a story right here called Coronavirus is Disproportionately Affecting Black Americans and what's this word? And eliciting calls for more data. Here's what you need to know. So it goes, early data has suggested that black Americans are disproportionately affected by the coronavirus. All right. Director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease spoke out about growing concerns surrounding racial disparities and death from COVID-19. We will get our coronavirus, but there will still be, we will get over coronavirus, but there will still be health disparities, which we really do need to address in the African American community. That's what Anthony Fauci, the director that everybody listening to about this whole corona shit. So it goes, over the past week, both individuals and organizations have publicly requested that states release the statistic that show which communities are being hit the hardest by COVID-19. New York Times journalist Charles M. Blow is one of them. In a call to action on his Instagram account, which received nearly 20,000 views, he encouraged leaders and citizens to demand the release of race-specific COVID-19 data for New York City. He requests a quick response, allowing him to post a racial demographic on Twitter shortly after. And what they have is fatalities by race and ethnicity. They say data is preliminary, with 90% reported. Below is the breakdown of New York State, excluding New York City, with 63% reporting. Below is the breakdown of, so with 90% reporting, below is the breakdown for New York State, excluding New York City, and with 63% reporting, below is the breakdown for New York City, as provided by New York City Department of Health, MH. I don't know what the MH is. So it goes, Hispanics in New York City is 34% of the deaths. Yeah, of the deaths. And in New York State, they're 14% of the deaths. Now, it's 14% of the deaths, and they're pointing out that they're 11% of the population in New York State. And then they're pointing out that it's 34% Hispanics in New York City, but it's 29. I'm dying, but it's 29% of the population. They have black is 28 in New York City, dead, and 22% of the population. And in New York State, 18% of the population dead, but they're 9% of the population. Whites is 27% dead in New York City, but they're 32% of the population. And New York State, 62% of them is dead, and they're 75% of the population. Asians is 7% dead, and they're 14% of the population, and 4% dead in New York State, and 4% of the population. And then others is 4% dead with 3% of the population, and in the state is 2% dead with 1% of the population. Now, so they get into the whole shit of well, you know, I got other stories, and I'm pretty sure they all gonna end up saying the same thing. But I don't know. Okay, here goes some more shit right here. They're saying black communities are being disproportionately impacted. Recently released data shows that African Americans in some parts of the country are becoming affected and dying of COVID-19 at higher rates than their white counterparts. In Illinois, African Americans make up 14% of the population, but 29% of the confirmed deaths and 41.2% of the deaths as of April 6th. Furthermore, Michigan population is 14% black, but African Americans currently make up 34% of the COVID-19 cases and 40% of the deaths. Additionally, on April 3rd, ProPublica reported that in Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, where the population is 26% black, African Americans currently comprise almost half of the county's 941 case. Almost half of the county's 941 cases, and 81% of its 27 deaths. Experts say that the data coming out of these states likely indicative of the disproportionate impact that COVID-19 is having on marginalized communities throughout the country. They talk about racism in the medical field. They say they talk about how it's less about how black Americans have coronavirus. Okay, so they go, Dr. Fauci press conference, he quoted and agreed with Deborah Bricks, response coordinator to the White House coronavirus task force, that is less about how many black Americans have coronavirus and more about how they're responding. It's not that African Americans are getting infected more often. It's that when they do get infected, their underlying medical conditions, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, asthma, those are the kind of things that wind them up in the ICU and ultimately give him a higher death rate. However, many say there are more factors at play. Kristen Clark, President and Executive Director of Lawyers Committee of Civil Rights Under Law, said in a statement to Yahoo Lifestyle, "We are deeply concerned that African American communities are being hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic and that racial bias may be impacting the access they receive to testing and health care." So they say the committee expanded on the concept in this letter in the HHS and CDC. Systematic racism and bias in the healthcare system has resulted in chronically poor health outcomes for black Americans, including higher rates of asthma, high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes. The letter read, these comorbidities render black Americans more susceptible to severe respiratory complications and death resulting from COVID-19, including test practices would help ensure that symptomatic people receive timely care and treatment, and asymptomatic people, carriers, do not continue to transmit COVID to other vulnerable members of their community. Then they talk about lack of access to the testing in our communities. So like I said, and lack of access towards health care, like having health insurance. So now, in that case right there, Smoke, as I'm reading that part, they're talking about, once again, black people with health issues. So the thing that I find interesting about that case is these aren't new health issues. It's not the first time. It's not like it's a situation where it's like, oh my God, it's the epidemic in our community that black people is suffering from diabetes, hypertension, kidney failure. You know what I'm saying? No, these are shits that we knew for 40, 50, 60 years.
Those are like food
so
diseases.
We end up.
These are
these are food diseases. Exactly. These food diseases. These aren't. These are things that you bring upon yourself. These are things, Smoke, that you would hear these people say stuff like, "Oh, them hoteps, them hoteps." Yeah, because them hoteps kept on beating into these people's head. Eat better. Drink your alkaline water. Oh, alkaline water, tap water, it's the same. All this shit talking that these people doing. Yo, eat your greens. Get off the meats. Work out. Take your herbs. Oh, that shit don't work for everybody. Everybody got excuses why they can't change shit. And then when a virus come in to kick to fuck up, not even to fuck up, when the virus come in to test your immune system and you fail the test, now everybody want us to look through the eyes of the weak. Now, before we continue this one, we got to get a call in. Call up. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, young man?
What's going on, Bianchi? What's going on?
You know, what you said is absolutely correct. And, you know, I get tired of hearing so much bad stuff about black people. Y'all know I'm highly conservative and I can speak any direction. But deep in my heart, I get tired of hearing that. You know, it gets depressing.
Yeah.
But like you say, people don't listen. And I can't really, you know, it's kind of hard to blame. There's so much that can be pointed at. But what you say, you know, you have to take care of yourself. All this, the lifestyles and partying, and you know, when a person has a physical illness, they don't go out looking to get a physical illness. It comes about from many different reasons, but you have to pay attention to your health.
Exactly.
And you know they say black men don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And maybe I may be guilty of that too, but I tell you what, I take care of I take care of my health. Now, you know, as far as this COVID, I was talking to my grandson, and I said, you know, back when you said that you had a headache, it says first time in your life you ever had a headache. And that was that COVID. This was back like in October of last year. And I had something strange then, too. But you know what I did for him? I went and got a chicken, a hen, and made a big old pot of chicken soup. I bought him a dozen oranges. I got him we have some moringa extract. And I made him he ate chicken soup till he was quacking around him.
But that moringa extract is good.
That moringa extract is good. The one that's made by the Hawaiian brand, that's some good stuff. And we also got moringa powder too. But that's what we did. And I tell him, I say, use this stuff. I tell you something else you might want to get you some chlorophyll liquid.
Right.
And take that. That's good for your stomach. Yeah, powder or the liquid. And you know how you can tell when you need it? When you're in there sitting on that toilet and them fumes come up out of there and knock you out. Fumes ain't supposed to be like that. You be getting off the toilet, staggering and everything, running into the wall.
Take
some chlorophyll.
See, but we make jokes about it, and we're having it. So we start to think it's normal to smell like that, and normal to feel like that, and think when you reach a certain age, you're supposed to have these ailments, and it's like no, you're not. Because once you go to the doctor, all the doctor does is basically saying you're slowly dying, and what we're going to do is give you medicine to make you live longer.
That's what it does,
They're not
man.
curing you. It's not improving your immune system. It's just making you a dying person live longer. That's it.
And you know when something going on in your gut and your intestines, it start coming out through your breath. You be knocking folks out.
Yeah.
People have to hold their breath. Damn, they do sign language when they talking to you.
Yeah, you're right about that shit. No
and you made a point too. People today have so many illnesses, and they are taking medicines that's keeping them alive. Okay. I talked to this Nigerian lady today, where I ate the restaurant, and she told me she's got diabetes, she's got high blood pressure, and she's got arthritis, and she takes medicine for all those. She said, I ain't coming out. But check this out. If you got all those things going on, and I'm not saying people do it for intentionally, but your immune system is taxed like hell. It's working its butt off. Yeah. And then when these viruses come in there, and then your immune system got to deal with that, it's going to break down. I mean, it happens in war. Look at World War II. Japan damn near beat the United States. Right. These viruses, these diseases, they are not dumbasses. They smart. I'm telling you, they are brilliant. Parasites. Parasites can, when you start taking wormwood extract, okay, and you start taking cloves, them damn parasites will run from that and hide in your body. Google it and look it up. Parasites have been around since before Adam and Eve. Parasites remember when Adam and Eve came in the neighborhood, moved in the neighborhood. But that is the truth. These things that's trying to kill you out in the real world, it's a fight. You got to look at it. I mean, you don't have to look at it. It's just the way it is. Things want to survive. And these diseases are smart. They would mask themselves. They would mutate. And that's what they do. Your body has a library, an archive. It's in your DNA. Well, yeah, we remember fighting this stuff back in 10,002 BC. Here it is right here. It's what we done. But they don't look like this no more. They don't change. Yep. So
and on top of that, they take medicines that destroy their immune system. So even if their immune system was strong enough to fight that disease, all the stuff we take now it's weak. A lot of the chicken got antibodies in it, and which weakens our immune system too.
Well, yeah, all that stuff is bad for you. And, I mean, you're going to die sooner or later anyway because, you know, everything has a life, and it just wears out, and things get the best of it. But these people that's dying, another thing, too, like you was reading New York, they talk about percentage. Well, give us some numbers.
Right.
I mean, if you got 30 people die, if you got 100 people die, and 28 of them is black, well, that sounds big when you say 28%. Give us some numerical numbers. And then when they do give you the numerical numbers, then people can see, you know, like up in Milwaukee, they said 900, I think, or something like that. Then another thing they ain't being clear on, in some of these areas are heavily populated by black people. New Orleans, and black folks down there. Milwaukee, that's black. New York has the largest population of black people, over like 3 million or something. Okay, then when you complicate it with these other things like you was talking about, well, now you got what you got.
Exactly. And that's my whole thing. It's not like it's just killing black people whether you're healthy or sick. No, it seems like when it comes to black people, I see two groups dying. That's black people with underlying conditions and gay black people.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I noticed.
Well, look.
That's what I noticed is dying.
All right. Okay, now let's turn the next page. From a spiritual point of view, God's wrath, you're absolutely right. That type of lifestyle and behavior is going to bring about something. These things were just not meant to be. So when you do them, you don't know what the hell is going to pop up out of those type of encounters. You ain't supposed to be poking a man in the butt with another man's penis and ejaculating in it. And that sperm is going to swimming, thinking it's swimming for an egg and running to a damn turd. That stuff is not meant to be. And when you put this stuff into effect, hey, you know what? It's like it was when the cows was eating meat. You remember that? When the cows was eating meat. Mad cows is eating. Cows are not carnivorous. They're not designed to eat meat. So when you do that, you don't know what the hell you're gonna have. It's like making up a meal in the kitchen in the dark.
Yeah, you're making something mixed up. But it's just funny to me that at the end of the day, I feel like they're showing all the numbers now because the healthy black people and the black people that's able to fight against the virus or not have it at all, they're still out like, man, I'm not following these rules. So now to keep us contained, they now want to put some of these numbers out because I totally agree with you. That percentage shit is so disingenuous because I read, now this is in March 27th, and I read in the Atlantic they were talking about Wisconsin, and they said out of the 14 deaths in Wisconsin, that was March 27th, 8 of them were black. So that means Wisconsin's coronavirus death, 57% was black. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. 57%? It was 8 people. But if you say 57, it sounds like, then they're going to say, and the population is only 11%. But that's the whole black population compared to the rest of the state's population. And then you're using the death number, which could be out of 98. So it could be 50 black people die out of 98 blacks, but it's 1 million black people in the state. So we're talking about 50 black out of, and I'm like, the numbers y'all playing game because we're dying more of gun violence than corona.
Oh hell yeah! Chicago shouldn't be complaining about no damn death. Yeah, 21 shot Tuesday.
Yeah, Chicago makes me laugh because what's her name, Lightfoot? She's like, oh my God, and we're dying at this number, and I'm like, we're talking about gunshots because y'all was dying before coronavirus, and everybody.
Yeah, she lived one of them lifestyles.
Oh yeah, that's why she's scared. That's why she's scared.
And look how she fired the police chief, and he was going to retire at the end of the month because he pulled over on the side of the road and took a nap, and they said he was drunk.
Oh yeah, that case. Yeah, that was pretty interesting the way they that just came out. It came out all during the time of that whole Jussie stuff, and it was too much. Chicago got a lot of stuff going on.
The thing it is you have to teach your children how to be critical thinkers, analytical thinkers, and you have to give them examples. So when they read a news article, they can see the holes that's in it. And see, it's the headline that pulls your butt in there. When you click that bad boy, everything jumps on you then. Then when you get to reading it, you start seeing the holes that's in the story, and it just doesn't make any logical sense. But anyway, I'm gonna let you guys get back to your program. I just wonder, I appreciate what you're doing, and you made mention to what I was thinking about, and I had to just call you up and say, man, you right on time.
Oh, you're gonna hear some more because I'm about to break this whole situation down.
All right, I'm sitting down, holding on.
Oh yeah, I'm about to break it down. So I appreciate it. Appreciate the call like always.
Okay.
Brother.
All right, take care.
All right, so let's go ahead and let me give you a sound off. There you go. All right, so that was Brother Bianchi. Always coming through on time. Make sure we got some music on in the background. But the funny thing is, Smoke. That's one of my pet peeves right there. That Bianchi said. Every time they say the percentage.
Right.
Oh, this percentage that, and I'm like, why are they saying the percent? Because they didn't do that with Italy.
Yeah, because they was because you had mentioned Milwaukee, and I had another article that I was looking at earlier, and they was talking about a county in Milwaukee, and the percentage of black people of the deaths in that county, I think it was Milwaukee County, was like 81%. So like you said, that number jumps up like 81%. Oh shit! But then you look at the amount of deaths, it was like 27 deaths. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like, you're looking at the number, it's like, when you look at the actual real number versus the percentage, it gives you a better idea of what's happening.
And again,
so a lot of it is how it's worded, and how they word it gives you a different outlook
and
on what's happening.
And to be clear, you know what I'm saying? Like every death and every number is somebody's family and loved one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we're not making light of anyone's death or making light of the coronavirus and the effects that it may cause people in real life in real terms. What I'm speaking on and what's being spoke on is the reality part and not the foo-foo, not the exaggeration. You see what I'm saying? Another thing, so we already talked about the underlying conditions, which is why black people are dying, right? You want to know another reason why black people are dying, Smoke? Another reason why black people are dying is because we're listening to what white people saying. So I know you're wondering, like, what you mean listening to what white people are saying? So let's do a quick rundown real quick, Smoke. A quick rundown. Now the one I'm doing is this. That's the one that starts with why some doctors are moving away. You see that story?
Yeah. That's
right, but don't say the whole shit yet. Yeah, that's what I'm going to pull up next, though. But let's do a quick rundown. First, they said the coronavirus was just wash your hands. It's not airborne, right? Remember when they said that shit?
Oh, you coughing.
Huh?
I said you coughing.
Well, I'm over there. Yeah, I'm cheating on this shit. Yeah, I'm on quarantine with my little herb. I'm gonna tell that to my girl. I'm just gonna be like, don't quarantine with all of that. Say some of that for me. No.
Right, stay on that
side. With me. Yeah, stay on that side. It's already contaminated.
Don't pass the law. 27 feet. Facts, real
facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn, where's the story at? There we go. Yeah, so. Damn, where? I can't find this story. That's weird. But there we go. I did find it. All right. So what's some of the stuff that they said? It says not airborne, right? Another thing that they said was there was like not the very beginning. It's not airborne. They said you don't need to wear a mask, right? They said that it's not going to affect the youth and the babies, and it doesn't transmit to animals, humans and animals, shit like that. All of that turned out to be a lie, right? Why? Because we don't know how to listen to these people when they talk. And like the brother Bianchi said, you have to know how to decipher what they're saying so you can find the holes in their stories, the lies. You can figure out, oh, this isn't facts. This is this person's opinion. This is what this person thinks might have happened. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll inject that and have you really believe in what they think, not what's really going on, right?
Right.
So I said on the show, I said a couple of shows back, I said, yo, there was a 55-year-old brother, black man. He said that he was healthy, worked out and shit. He said the corona shit, he caught it, that shit put him on his ass. He said he's every time he breathed, he said it made his lungs felt like it was crystallized. That's what made it hard to breathe and shit like that. He said when he lay down. A couple of shows ago. He said when he lay down, he feels good, but the virus is slowly killing him. He said because that's when it's really filling up your lungs and shit. He said, but when you try to fight it and you're moving around, you walking, you trying to fight the virus. The virus.
Right.
He said you're gonna feel like death. You're gonna throw up. You might throw up blood, but you're healing yourself. You're gonna feel better, right? He said he asked the nurse or whatever like that told him that they were gonna put him on a ventilator, right? And he said, don't put him on a ventilator because if you put me on a ventilator, I might die. I'm not gonna be alive, right?
Right.
So now I run across this story, right? April 10th, right? No, April 9th, excuse me. NBC News. This is the title. Why some doctors are moving away from ventilators for virus patients. As health officials around the world push to get more ventilators to treat corona patients, some doctors are moving away from using the breathing machine when they can. The reason, some hospitals have reported unusually high death rates for coronavirus patients on ventilators, and some doctors worry that the machines could be harming certain patients. So when these people are sitting around and shit like that, and they want the research, and we want the stats on how many black people die from coronavirus, and woo, 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 and whap, 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 we don't even know what to ask for. You're going to ask to see how many black people died. But how many of them going to ask how many of them was on the ventilator when they died? to check the correlation. They're not, because half of the black people believe what they hear from the TV when they're telling them about the ventilator. So when the doctors say who doesn't know, they don't know. They're just doing what they think will work. So when the doctor come in or the nurses come in and you say, I can't breathe, I'm having an issue breathing, right? And then what they're going to say? Come lay on this gurney. They're not going to walk you around. Come lay on the gurney. Lay down here. We're going to get somebody to check you. You laying down. What the black man said, you feel better. So you're laying down, you feel a little better, but your lungs is filling up. Your lungs is filling up, so what else is happening? It's being harder for me to breathe. It's being harder for me to breathe, so guess what else I need? I need a ventilator. Once you need a ventilator, guess what? You die. In most cases. Some cases you survive. Most cases you don't for certain patients. They said the evolving treatment highlights the fact that doctors, here we go, Smoke, that doctors, this is the reason why, Smoke, the reason why black people is dying at a high rates. This is the other reason why black people are dying at a high rates. The evolving treatments highlight the fact that doctors are still learning the best way to manage a virus that emerged only months ago. That doctors are still learning. You're being experimented on. You're being experimented on. Because if I don't know, guess what? The percentage of you dying is higher if I don't know.
Especially when
common sense.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say you get into the wrong place health-wise. You know what I'm saying? You can expire. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it is. And it's like the ventilators are taking these patients to a certain level that they can't come back from. You know what I'm saying? It's helping them get to that point. You know what I'm saying? The doctor's not realizing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how many people died during that whole, during that whole time, you know what I'm saying, of the doctors using that process, you know what I'm saying? That's all you've been hearing about is people going on ventilators. That shit is like, it's crazy, and it's like playing out like, you know, a mistake that everybody knows, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, you might not hear much about it. I mean, I had to hear, you know, you put me on to this actual article, and it was from today, so, you know, maybe from this point forward, you start hearing more of a point towards that, but that shit is crazy, you know what I'm saying? It also points to the fact of how you need to keep yourself, and, you know, you gotta keep yourself healthy, because you can't depend on the doctors in a case like this. They in there experimenting because they don't know. So it's like, you're trying. And so it's like somebody else's misfortune is going to help others in the future. But, you know, that don't take away a person that lost their life because of that, you know, could have been saved. You know what I'm saying? Because of procedure mistakes and, you know what I'm saying, shit like that.
And let's add it on the other realization too, Smoke. You got the white hospitals who probably using different methods to treat patients, and then you got the primarily hospitals that cater towards black people that's just following orders. You dig what I'm saying? So you just got the black, you know what I'm saying? Well, they're not trying unique methods. You see what I'm saying? They're just like, what are we supposed to be doing? We're bringing these. Let's do it like this. This is what they're telling us to do, so we're doing it like that. We're state ran or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But them other hospitals doing some other shit, because I'm gonna show you another story right here, Smoke. This is the point I'm making, really. So Chris Cuomo, remember he got the coronavirus, right? So he says, and this is a story from April 7th, right? The title is called Chris Cuomo Shares the Key to Battling Coronavirus After Scary Chest X-Ray. So he goes, Chris Cuomo, who tested positive for coronavirus last week, revealed X-ray images of his lungs on CNN Monday and shared a key lesson for kicking the illness. The news anchor said he endured a feverish, sleepless night Friday, unable to move for 12 hours, and intended not to return to work Monday. I was just soaked and scared, he said. And then I got a call from a friend of a friend of a friend who is a doctor and a pulmonary expert. The doctor told him to get up not lay down. The doctor told him to get up, stretch his torso, despite the discomfort. And remember I said, the black man said, your lungs, that shit feel like it's crystallized. So just imagine that when they say discomfort. Despite the discomfort, and tried to hold his breath for 10 seconds, although he felt unable to do so. Then the physician shared crucial advice to fight back against the disease, Cuomo said. He said, I saw your x-rays. It's in your lungs. And you got the right fear. And you got the right approach, the wrong approach. You can't wait it out, he said. You have to fight. And not in some silly metaphorical way. You've got to do the things that will beat this virus. You've got to breathe deep when it hurts. When you get a fever spike and that hurts, he said, you can't take the confidence that is going to go down. You've got to layer up. You've got to drink. You've got to take Tylenol, and you've got to fight back. You've got to make the fever go down any way you can. Cuomo revealed that so that's that bullshit. So that's the whole shit. He said, now watch this. He said the virus is banking on you doing nothing, Cuomo said. Your indolence, as the doctor called it, it wants us passive on our backs. You hear that? This is what he said. He says it wants you passive. That's the same shit the black man said. That's the same shit that black man said. He said it makes you want to lay down. And that's what's killing you. Now, Smoke, how many black people do you know is going to sit here now, still stick, and they're going to do what? Lay down.
Yeah, right.
So the laying down is what's killing you.
Yeah.
So when they say what's killing black people, that's the two reasons. One, your underlying health. Two, because you following what white people saying. You don't know the real information, which is you got to fight back against this medicine. You can't sit back and lay down and lay on the gurney and take ventilators. You can't do that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's like symbolic also. It's like if you just lay down and don't fight, you gonna die. But if you fight against it, you give your body a reason to just fight that shit off. You can persevere over that shit. So it's like how it's like symbolic that shit is also. But it's crazy, the information, the black man said it, you know what I'm saying? He said it.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And you got the doctors that's doing different shit, so just for anybody who knows, just like, keep that in mind. If you got them symptoms or you feeling like that, stay active and keep moving around, you know what I'm saying? Like that shit off.
And guess what? You're gonna feel like
that's ironic.
You're gonna feel like
mostly because mostly what you've been taught as growing up. You sick, you go rest your body, you know what I'm saying? You like lay down or get your energy back, you know what I'm saying, to fight yourself. That's like the natural thing that you taught to do, you know what I'm saying? You don't really get taught to be like,
Keep this. So I'm at work, right? So I thought I was coming down with for like a cold or whatever, probably with just hay fever. So the big boss at the job, right? He in the bathroom and shit, right? So he says, what up? I say, what up? He's like, you coming out for cold or something? I said, nah, I think it's hay fever or whatever. I said, I hope it's not a cold. So he was like, well, I used to be in the Marines. And we was taught that if you have the flu, you bundle up and you jog and sweat it out.
Yeah, I heard football cats say that.
You see? So we're being told one shit, lay down, while other people are doing something totally fucking different to fight theirs.
Another shit.
So that means we're not getting the information.
Same football cat was talking about. He was like, when you feel the onset of like a cold, maybe it's not even flu or whatever. He was like, what you can do is like take a shower. Now, I don't know what the science is behind it, but this is where it works. Like when you take a shower, you gotta take that, take it as hot as water you can. So let that joint run for a few minutes or whatever, and he was like, switch it to cold water. Ice cold water, you can take it. Like do that like a few times. I don't know what it does. Maybe it starts some type of antibodies or something in your body or whatever. But we swear it works. It's like you'll fight your cold off. Just by doing that. I was like, well, I never heard that before. But again, it's like you're not taught of anything to fight it. It's like if it gets you, take some meds, lay down, brush yourself, you will be back. And so if you're thinking that, that's basically like, starting your death sentence. You know what I mean? If you really take that approach to it. So it's, that's just information that we got to deliver to ourselves. We ain't got it yet.
And think about the medicine. Anti this and anti that, basically. I can't even think of the name of it right now. But like when cold suppressant, it's a lot of suppressants and it's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? That like that's what these medicines are. It's a lot of suppressants, a lot of anti this and anti that. So you don't even know the effects on your body. So as you weaken it, just like with the chicken, they said that in the meats they put so much antibodies in the chicken to fight their diseases that if you eat a lot of chicken and stuff like that, that your body won't be able to take antibodies to fight off infectious diseases because you know what I'm saying, your body got so, I guess, hopped up or whatever with the antibodies, however that affects your body.
You used to have it, you used to have it in your body, so it's like it ain't gonna really, I guess if any germs or viruses was to penetrate that, it's already above. It could defeat at those level of antibodies anyway. You know what I'm saying? I guess.
Right.
I guess it's like that makes sense though. If I ain't explaining it correctly, it makes sense.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what happens. So that we sit here now and we wonder why these things happen to us. The reason why this happened to us, they said the corona, what they said? Hold on. They just said confirmed corona case in the U.S. passes 500,000, according to Johns Hopkins University. Yeah, so that's the whole point of what I'm saying when it comes to black people. It's like we're following wrong information. The first thing I hear when I'm reading the stories of black people dying is the same story. I wasn't feeling well. I went down to the hospital. You see what I'm saying? I got turned away, went back home. So if you went back home, 9 out of 10, what you did? You laid back down. You can't lay down. The 55-year-old black man, he said he fought his. He's the first one I heard say the whole story, how it felt, how he felt, how his lungs felt, what he did, all that shit, what he observed. The doctor's still scratching their ass trying to figure out what they got to do. Damn, Chris Cuomo gets it. He said the doctor tells him the same shit. Chris Cuomo out here, he good. Black people dying. Why black people dying? Because we don't got the information. So they say medical ventilators push oxygen into patients whose lungs are failing. Using the machines involves sedating the patient and sticking a tube into the throat. Death in such sick patients are common, no matter the reason they need the breathing help. Generally speaking, 40% to 50% of patients with severe respiratory distress die while on ventilators, experts say. But 80% or more of coronavirus patients placed on machines in New York City have died. So they're saying on average, 40% to 50% of patients die on ventilators if you got respiratory issues. Period. But due to the coronavirus,
you got a serious problem if you hit that ventilator, basically.
Under
any circumstance.
Yeah, so that's already a damn. They had
the coronavirus on top of that. You know what I'm saying? That makes it worse. 80% in New York. Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. You know, and then you wondering why there's so much death in New York. Your whole health system in New York is fucking fucked up. It ain't got nothing to do with corona. This coronavirus is exposing people's health systems. I listened to they said this smoke. They said in California. They said because California probably already had traces of the coronavirus because there's so many Chinese going back and forth from California to China. That's probably why they was able to really curb theirs compared to New York. I said, New York got a large Chinese population too. Like, what the fuck is y'all talking about? Nah, I can't say that. But see, but that lets you know they guessing because they don't know. So they guess. They just throwing shit around trying to see what stick. You see? You want to hear another guessing game? Here's another guessing game. The intended consequences. Oh no, my bad. I ain't mean to read that. Yeah. Basically, in a nutshell, they're trying to say if you smoke herb, then you got a chance that you could catch corona and die from it. And they're trying to associate that because anything that you could die from by smoking cigarettes, they always try to associate that with weed too, because it's both smoking. But they can never prove it. That's the funny part. But here's a story that we need to pay attention to, and I'm pretty sure some people already heard about this. But there was two French doctors talking about infecting Africans with vaccines to see if how they can fight the fucking COVID shit. At a time when footballers have been urged, and this one is called The French Doctors Test Vaccines on Africans and Western Medicine's Dark History. It says, at a time when footballers have been urged to do more to address the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, it was striking to see three Africans who had graced the world stage speak out. They said, in a television discussion that had become swiftly famous, two French doctors, one of them the head of an intensive care unit in Paris, suggested trials for vaccine against COVID-19 should be conducted upon African patients. The remarks of Professor Jean-Paul Mera and Camille Locke met immediately with fury, with the words of Didier Drogba, Demba Ba, and Samuel Eto'o attracted particular attention. It is inconceivable that we continue to accept this, wrote the former he's from the Ivory Coast, international drug case. No. Africa is not a laboratory. I would like to vividly denounce those demeaning, false, and most of all deeply racist words. Do not take African people as human guinea pigs. It is absolutely disgusting. African leaders have a responsibility to protect their population from those erroneous conspiracies. Dimba, the French-born Senegalese international, looked at the broader content of white supremacy. Welcome to the West, he commented, where white people believe themselves to be so superior that racism and stupidity have become commonplace. So, yeah, so they say the doctors have since apologized in response to the global outrage. But what the two French doctors were saying was merely invoking a long tradition of French experimentation upon Africans. To take just one example, between 1921 and 1956, millions of citizens were forced by French colonial governments to receive injections of medication with dubious efficiency and with serious side effects, including blindness, gangrene, and death. Now, go ahead. Wait, we'll build on that. So I gotta blow my nose. Yeah, I want stuffy. But you hear how the French has always been testing their diseases on the Africans. Wow, let me blow my nose, people. So you see how the French has always been using the Africans in their where they formerly colonized as guinea pigs. So then when you're seeing Africa having these diseases, another disease that's just breaking out again is Ebola in the Congo. But when you're seeing these diseases coming out and things of this nature, you have to understand that these people are intentionally infecting us with things. This isn't just commonplace shit. That's why it's very important to build yourself up. Very important to make sure your health and your immune system is up and on par. You have to make sure you're eating is right. You have to make sure the information that you take in is correct. All of this shit is important because everything out here that the system got set up for you is to destroy you. Point blank, period. No games, no jokes. You see what I'm saying? So when you're sitting around here and you're living an unhealthy life and you're drinking all this alcohol, you're not drinking water, you're fucking up your livers, you're fucking up your lungs, you know what I'm saying? Your high blood pressures and your this and your that. And like the brother Pianki said, you're not doing this intentionally. You're not drinking alcohol because you're like, yo, I can't wait till I fuck up my liver in 20 more years. You're not doing it like that. You're doing it because you think you have this fun. But what you have to understand is if you out here in this fight, in this war, fighting white supremacy and all this shit y'all claim y'all want to do, how you doing that and your body not right? How you do that and your physical not right? So a little virus come through and shit like that and knock you down. Now you got black people walking around with masks and all kind of shit on their face. Why? Why they got masks on their face? Because a lot of black people sick. There's a lot of black people out here sick. Okay, so if you're telling me that you're sick, the solution should be build your body back up. See, those who don't build their body up and those who like to live the life of unhealthiness, I don't dwell upon you. I don't dwell. I don't shun you. If you want the information, I will always give it to you. But I don't dwell on you. I focus on the strong because those are the ones that have to build. I can't keep waiting for the weak because you're holding us back. That's the reason why when you hear everybody talk about reform and shit like that, you hear them say, yo, what did such and such do for black people? Oh, prison reform. Prison reform. What do prison reform got to do with black people? Because we look at life through the eyes of the weak. We always want to be on the bottom. We always want to be weak. We always want to be the ones that need help. We always want to be the one that despair because we feel like if we're in those low positions, we can always get sympathy. Because we don't want to fight and build ourselves up to gain respect. That's too hard. So we rather keep ourselves down to get sympathy. So we stand on weak. Again, it's a tragedy to anyone out there who lost a loved one. But like I heard the comedian Michael Che say, his grandmother who died from complications of the coronavirus, he's glad that she don't have to suffer anymore. So if she don't got to suffer no more, that sounds like she was already slowly dying. You see? Smoke, you there? Yep. I don't know, I think the coronavirus coming. Got smoke, ladies and gentlemen. So, that's the French doctors, you know what I'm saying? They out there, like I said, they out here wanting to infect, because that's how they quote unquote test the disease.
You hear me?
They infect. Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, so I don't do that phone. I was talking like,
yeah, I was talking about the French doctors and shit, talking about they would have infected them Africans and shit like that in their former colony. And the history that they have of infecting the Africans with diseases. And then I was correlating that with the fact that you'll see in Africa a lot of disease. And then we like to associate the Africans or Africa with diseases. Now realizing them shit is coming in from the Europeans. Yeah. That shit's coming in from the Europeans. All that bullshit. They came from that germs and all kind of bullshit like that, not us. So they do that shit, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy part about it is because we don't want to analyze that or recognize that and do something about it, we rather just accept it and work with the same people that's literally infecting people just so they can try out a new drug on them. Because how do I know if this fucking works unless somebody catch the disease? So now I infect their water. They all have this malaria. Now we can test out this new malaria drug on them. Oh, it works good? Let's put it on the market. We don't even get the game.
Yeah, be the hero.
We don't even get the game.
We found the cure.
Huh?
We found the cure. Fuck out of
here. Yeah. So that's the whole. Like I said, man. At the end of the day, that's the science behind this whole corona shit and why black people is dying. You know what I'm saying? Why black people is dying from the coronavirus. The reason why black people die from the coronavirus is one, because of underlying health conditions, meaning you was already slowly dying. It just sped it up. and misinformation, not having the right information, following white people, not having the right information. When I say following white people, I'm talking about, and that's whether it's a black doctor, white doctor, it don't matter. When you're following what the narrative is, and they're telling you about ventilators, and they're telling you to lay here, or you thinking you should lay down, and because you don't have the information, that's why you're dying. They just said again, Smoke, if you have respiratory issues and they put you on a ventilator, 40 out of 50% of the times you're gonna die anyway. Yeah. But with corona, it's 30% more. So it's like we ain't talking about nothing happening. No, we talking about shit that's for example, Smoke. I wanted to get the numbers for how many black people died of diabetes in 2019. How many black people died of, you know what I'm saying, these different shit, gun violence, all of that shit. Because I want to see that number.
You might be able to get that on ID.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out. I'm gonna check it out because I'm just looking at the concern that black people have, and it's like we have this, like the bigger heads, the upper heads, the upper management. They have all of the ringing the alarms and ringing the bells, and we're closing the parks, and we're doing this and we're doing that, which I'm not saying whether it's right or it's wrong. So then the people now follow this silly shit. So now the way that 5 people, and the thing that's about it is that kills me is they can't tell you shit. Now if you use your brain, you can understand what's going on. And you can see that the way that you have to deal with this fucking virus is how you deal with anything. You just gotta fight it if you catch it. If you got a weak immune system, it might be safe. You might need to keep your ass in the house more. You know what I'm saying? Because the fittest of the fit is going to survive. The weak going to perish. So if you're part of the weak, then I suggest that you stay in the house. But for the strong and the one with the strong immune systems, we got to walk outside. We got to do what we got to do. Because the percentage of the people that's dying, check this out, Smoke. The percentage of the people that's dying is still less than the percentage of the people that's living. The death ain't outnumbering the living. You see what I'm saying? But when they keep on telling you these numbers, they're telling it to you looking through the eyes of the weak, looking through the eyes of the sorrow, of the misery. So they'll tell you about all of this numbers, but they're not, because if they tell you the truth and they say, that's right, this many people died, but 97%, since we played the percentage game, 97% recovered. You have a 97% recovery rate. Do you know how empowered you would feel where they said 300 people died from the coronavirus, but 30,000 recovered? You see what I'm saying? That would make you feel like, oh, okay, you know what? I have a chance to survive. Let me hear from the survivors, and let me hear your stories of how you survived. No, they wanted to tell us all the stories about people dying. Then they want to tell us, oh, it lasts on plastic this long and paper that long, and then they had to tell you, oh yeah, and it's in the air too, and it's in the air this long. Then I heard in another story a doctor say that if you fart, then the coronavirus is in your fart, which don't make sense to me if you got pants and drawers on. That should play as a filter, you know what I'm saying? You would think in theory. But, maybe you pull your pants down and fart raw outside in the wind, you know what I'm saying? So,
no.
and for whatever reason, somebody gets a whiff, you know what I'm saying? You could then catch coronavirus. Yeah, like, come on. Like, shit. What it said, silent but deadly? Shit. They made it really deadly. Like, you could really die now. But the whole point is, they don't know. So you have to look at your body, and you have to fill your shit out. You know what I'm saying? You have to know your body. If you somebody that you know walking from your door to the mailbox of your house, you fucking dripping sweat, yeah, you might want to work on your health. Fuck Corona. You might need to work on your health because you should never, even with no Corona, you shouldn't feel comfortable living like that. You shouldn't feel comfortable breathing heavy by doing minimal physical work. You shouldn't feel comfortable as a woman not being able to wear certain clothes or move a certain way, or, you know what I'm saying, jog or run, or you shouldn't feel comfortable as a man, especially as a man, to be winded. Because what if you get in a fight?
Oh, boy.
What if you got to run? You know what I'm saying? To not to be physically strong. What if you got to defend your family and protect yourself? You know what I'm saying? What if you in the burning fire of a house and you got to save your family? Like, as a man, you should definitely be about your health. As a man, that should be part of masculinity. Part of being a man is working out, is getting your calisthenics and your push-ups and your pull-ups. You don't got to get weights. You ain't got to be fucking goddamn Mr. Olympian and no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm trying to get through my head and shit, because I ain't even gonna lie. I got to do this.
Go ahead.
That's right.
Talk
That's
your
my,
shit.
well, I ain't gonna say it's my one weakness, but like that's the one thing I know I gotta do is fucking work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this is the perfect time to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the world is kind of on a shutdown. You know what I'm saying? You don't got as many distractions other than what you see on TV with the news. And, the news of the coronavirus itself, you know what I'm saying? So especially with those, you don't got to worry of, because some of us is getting paid. And you might be working from home or your job still paying you, you know what I'm saying? So you might have some extra time on your hands, you know what I'm saying? You don't got the clubs and shit to go to. So, that's for me, that's like one of the things I try to promise myself, like, during this time to try to pick that habit up at least, you know what I'm saying? Doing that. I've been doing good, not smoking no black in my house. So, you know what I mean? I'm trying to stick on that and try to do something and just really, like, hold myself accountable because it's like, I said it. I mean, the listeners probably not going to know whether I do it or not. You know what I'm saying? But I know, you know what I mean? So it's like, kind of just want to just hold myself accountable, like, all right, you don't do it, you whack. Because you said it also. You're like, this is the perfect time, right? And you still can't, get to be push-ups in the night or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the shit that I got to hold myself accountable to.
Yeah, that's the whole shit. But see, that's what, hold on. Yeah, but that's the whole shit. It's like, you holding yourself accountable. That means you're looking at yourself. Too many times, black people, man, we look at ourselves and we just be like, we don't want to fix or not fix. We don't want to improve anything. It's like we're cool. We'll sit there and we'll be like, Like I'm black, so I'm supposed to, or I'm 40, so I'm supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody trying to do all the, and I'm just like, nah, that's not, nah, man, come on, yo. You're supposed to, just like you said, Smoke, you're supposed to say to yourself, like, yo, you know what? I need to start, let me start running. Let me start doing some working out. Let me start doing this. Let me start doing that. Like, that's supposed to be what happens. You're not supposed to just sit here and feel comfortable having these diseases, especially since they're things that's brung on by you, and the choices and the impacts of the things that you're doing. Basically, nobody's forcing none of this stuff. A lot of these bad things happen because of not being disciplined, to keep it all the way real. A lot of it is a lack of discipline. And lack of discipline is a number one element in the black community that we suffer from. And that's a lack of discipline. And because of our lack of discipline, we sit around and shit like that, and we get complacent. So when we sit around and shit like that now, complacent, and we're sitting around and we're like, oh, okay, I went to the doctor told me I got diabetes, but guess what? I'm going to still eat the same way. I'm going to still drink. I got cancer. I'm taking chemo. Fucking up my immune system, but guess what? I'm going to do the same shit that caused this cancer. I'm going to eat the same shit that caused this cancer. I'm not going to do nothing to change my life. I'm not going to do nothing to better myself. Because we all going to die from something. Then when it's time for you to die, now you're crying. Now it's help me. What was that herb that you said I should take? I'm drinking my water now. But it's too late. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. So the only thing I got to say, black people, get your health up. For those who ain't doing it. Us out here who is, we already know. This is just our reassurance that we're on the right path and take it up another notch. We on the right path. But y'all black people out there who not taking this shit called life serious, who eating your way into a grave, who drinking your way into a grave, who's taking bad information, wrong information, not opening your mind to the truth, they're going to perish, man. They don't got the tools to survive in this world. You don't got the tools to survive in the world. And if you don't got the tools to survive in the world, then guess what? You're going to get ate up alive.
Yeah, no mercy.
No mercy whatsoever. They want to know the racial numbers of the corona. I want to know the difference between who got underlying conditions and who gay. That's what I want to see too. Don't add all of that shit to the black population. I want to know who's sick in the black population and who gay. That's what I want to see. Because if you're showing me that the majority of people or all the people that died of the coronavirus either was gay or had underlying conditions, then that means the black population was immune to the virus. Because I'm like, You know what I'm saying? If your immune system was already compromised, you was anything to kill you. So that don't count.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's put it up. Let's match it up to the black people whose immune system is strong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's do it like that. Let's do it like that.
Basically, you got to protect your neck. It's pretty much what we all boiled down to.
Yeah. Well, they say your health is your wealth, right?
Because the thing about this virus is attacking people's health, but it's also attacking people financially. So, you know, a lot of us work. So, if you were the company that had to furlough you for this time frame, you're not getting paid, you got to wait on, you know, like unemployment and, you know, the stimulus checks or whatever. If you got a business, it's not an essential business, so it's closed. So you're not making no money right now. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that we can look at as in the black community when you have something of this nature. It's like, well, how can we respond to these things like that? So we always talk about having an economic base. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, if, for example, you know, we got a shortage of toilet tissue. If we was creating toilet tissue within our community, it'd be a business opportunity for those companies. You know what I'm saying? You know, down to the level necessary right now. You know what I'm saying?
But there is.
Yeah.
You gotta give shout outs to the freedompaper.com because they're getting business. I monitored their response on their website, and you was able to get tissue, and now they're relocating it to a whole nother page where you can't get the 96 rolls anymore. So yeah, Freedom Papers products.
They still, you can go order from them now? You still order?
Yeah. Yeah, you can order through them now.
So look. So then now, you just give an example of them. They turning money right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if there's other ones that, you know what I'm saying, I'm oblivious to because I just skipped over them, you know what I'm saying? So I really feel ashamed for that. But at the same time, when you look at the point, they turning money. You know what I'm saying? They're in a situation right now where not only black people want this product, you know, people looking up toilet paper. Like, I need Freedom toilet paper. I don't give a damn who make that shit. I need it. Food Line don't have it. Walmart, they running low. They only give it out one joint. You know, one package. You know, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So those are opportunities. So if we had more of those type of companies, you know what I'm saying, more of those Freedom papers in the, you know, in different industries and shit like that, we could be, you know, making a economic come up. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's just, you know, in this situation, it's just, you know, on a personal level, you just look at, you know, the things that you could do to improve yourself. You know, if you was financially stuck, then you got to look at ways where when this turns around, you know what I'm saying, how you can put yourself with a little cushy, a little rainy day fund, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, you work in a certain industry, if things like this happen, stoppages of work, you know, you got things that you can rely on, you know, investments and shit. Right now, you know, last week we spoke about, you know, the stock that was low. I know, you know, we were, you know, both of us got Groupon as a stock, you know what I'm saying? So, opportunities to make money that way financially. Health-wise, you know, people, you see the main thing, or one of the main factors you're talking about with coronavirus attacking people and really hurting them and killing them is the underlying health issues. So, you know, you got time to look at yourself and say, well, what is it that I'm eating? What is my, you know, my bad habits? Do I drink a lot? Do I smoke too much? You know, whatever it is, you can do those things and try to work on it. So it's a fucked up situation with, you know, especially with people that lost, you know, have family members, they lost, you know, people close to them, friends and family and shit like that. But
look,
you gotta just reflect.
They gotta reconnect with their local hotep. They have to reconnect with their local hoteps.
Because
Because remember, they diss these people. These people telling them about food and water and drink and what you're supposed to drink and alkaline and fresh vegetables and getting away from these chemicals and stuff.
Shit.
And everybody, they looking at them laughing like, oh, them hoteps. Yeah, and guess what? That shit that you didn't even know you was getting prepared for, now here comes the test. And you fell. A lot of y'all fell.
But if you listen, you got a chance to rectify yourself right now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So like, and it makes things real because you say, well, you know, Pianki mentioned earlier, the caller Pianki mentioned earlier that you don't go out drinking and thinking like I'm going to harm myself, my body. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to make myself get this
that is
disease
true.
like that. So if you don't, you know, we're not going around thinking it. But now reality hits. You have a situation here that's really affecting people. People really dying from it, and your health can help you prevent from getting it. So there's a real. So these things can really happen. You know what I'm saying? They can really happen, and you really be affected. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's the time. There's always that time where you could just change shit. And, you know what I'm saying, change your path and do better, you know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like, you know, with all this going on, it's like that's the positive you can take out of it. It's like rearranging things to, you know, to make sure, it's like a gut check for a lot of people. Like, okay, now, it's just not working. I'm going to show you. Now it's up to you to try to, you know, to fix that. And it's in this messed up time frame, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because again, like you said, it ain't just your health and your personal. It's also your wealth.
Yeah.
People once the work-in slow down, a lot of people financial situations got exposed. So you got people health situation got exposed. You got people financial system situation got exposed. So it's like you got to look at, even America got exposed. So you got to look at showing that how many holes this economy has. And when there's a hole, guess what you do with a hole? You fill it up. That means there's a lot of holes that's open for black people to fill up. Because there's nothing being made here. Donald Trump. Everybody want to tell you that don't like Donald Trump. Donald Trump said he will greenlight any factory projects. That's when all the rich blacks and the blacks with money was supposed to be like, okay, let me open up a factory to start producing something in America. Guess what? If we would have had a factory, I don't care if this person was making shoestrings. Soon as they found out that this corona shit was going on and they needed masks, they could have changed their factory from a shoestring making factory to a mask, to a protective equipment. You know what I'm saying? With the gloves and all of that, they could have instantly turned that shit into that. Black people, listen to me when I'm telling you. The only way for our race to get strong in this country is for us to have an economy where we produce things, where we trade, where we hire each other. That's the only way. We cannot rise above whatever ailments we're dealing with, whether it's social, financial, personal, or any other ailments, if we can't take care of ourselves. We depend on people for food, clothing, shelter, and we then wonder why we don't get respect or we don't get the best treatment in this country. If you want it, you have to create it. We're supposed to have black hospitals that's supposed to be caring for us. We're supposed to have black businesses and black people that make things. We rely on China. The reason why black people rely on China is because white people rely on China. Really, the world depends on China. We understand that. But We talking America. When you produce your own shit, black people, when white people depend on China and the world depends on China, black people, we supposed to depend on ourselves. So when black people are making stuff and trading, and we trading with the blacks in America, the blacks in Europe, the blacks in the islands, Africa, Latin America, right? And we have that connection. You know what happened when other people say, I don't want to fuck with the blacks? They do their thing, we do our thing. And then when there's a disruption on their side, they have no choice but to get it from your side. That's how you get money. That's how you transfer wealth. That's how you rise above in this society. You don't rise above the society doing what everybody else do and then say, hey, respect me for being a copycat. No, that's not how it works. The Chinese did not come up into society because they're the smartest or they're the brightest or the wisest or their God is whatever. No, they came into society copying what everybody else had. What everybody else did, all the Chinese did was copy it and sold it to you cheaper. If you made if you made pizza Italian, the Chinese opened up a pizzeria too. If you made chicken black people, the Chinese start making chicken. You made music, they bootleg your music, sold your CDs. You have a daishiki print, they make copies of daishiki print. Whatever you made, they made a copy of it and sold it cheap. That's how Chinese got into power. So when I'm telling black people we have to rebuild our economy, that's the only way we're going to be able to get respect in this world. That's the only way for us to elevate ourselves in this world. That's the only way for us to better ourselves as a race in this world and be comfortable globally. People ask me the same question, Smoke. Well, how are we going to get an economy? What are we supposed to do? So I'm going to say it again. We have to copy everything that's made in this world. There needs to be a black version of everything that's made in this world. Everything. There should be a black version. There should be a black condom company. There should be a black sanitation shit for the women with the tampons and all that shit. There should be a black deodorant company. There should be a black everything. Everything that's made, there should be a black version of it. If we're not producing this thing, then guess what? There's an avenue for you because it needs to be produced by a black person. That's how we come out this rut. Go ahead, Smoke, because we don't get it. We don't get it.
Oh, man. You pretty much said it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we basically just going to remain in a position of begging and asking for shit that we need, from people that don't look like us. If we don't have that mind frame, if we don't instill that shit in our kids, like, teach them from babies, you know what I'm saying, about building, about, just being able to generate money on their own, you know what I'm saying, within the community, outside the community, and, you know what I'm saying, we always going to be in a position of begging, you know what I'm saying? And that's, and that's what you see a lot of times with the situations with people, individual situations, not just black people, just people, just America, just to say Americans as we here. You know what I'm saying? You at the mercy of America. A virus come in, America or these cities say, "Oh, you shut it down." You at the mercy of it. Now you got to ask somebody for assistance. I need money so I can go buy me something. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good position to be in, and it's not something to make fun of anybody. You know what I'm saying? But it's like to understand that you don't want to be in that position, and then to formulate your mind so where you don't make decisions that keep you in that position. You know what I'm saying? So this virus shit, and and the state that it has the world in right now, you know, that should be a warning cry for black people. You know what I'm saying? For all of the points that we just went over. It's like if you can't just, you know, review your life right now, from all of the standpoints we talk about, even some that we might have not talking about. You know, relationships with your kids, relationships with your baby mother, your wife, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. You know what I mean? Just reevaluate the things that, you know, gonna strengthen you. You know what I'm saying? Strengthen your family, strengthen your pockets, strengthen your hope. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of time for it right now. There's no clubs, no none of that shit. So it's just really about thinking like that, the ways that, you know, you could build yourself up, build your family up, but then in turn, those things will help build up the community. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's just the time for that right now to just really reflect on it and push it in action if you can.
Because at the end of the day, it's like where you want to be in the next 20 years. It's 2020. 20 years ago was what?
Listen,
2000.
What month is April? Like right now, basketball season will be, it might be in playoffs right now or right about to amp up to playoffs. So we be watching playoffs, drinking beer, you know, just there's no distractions right now. It ain't no strip club to go to. There's nobody out in the street, you know what I'm saying? No party. Right now you got nothing but time. Like, just don't waste your time. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste your time. Basically what I want to say. There's nothing to do. Just use it productive and, you know, try to reflect on it. And if you good money, then shit, maybe start one of them businesses we're talking about, one of those essential businesses. You good.
Because, see, that's the other shit. When it's time for this economy to kick back off, yo, the desperation to get shit popping is going to be high. Meaning, that's an opportunity for black people. Yeah, that's the opportunity. Right now, this is what's going on in reality, black people. What's going on in reality? Yeah, what's going on in reality is there's a glitch in the matrix. That's what's going on in reality. There's a glitch in the matrix. You don't. So when there's a glitch in the matrix, you don't sit there and marvel at the glitch. No, you capitalize off the glitch. There's a glitch in the matrix. You see what I'm saying? You capitalize off the glitch. If you at the bus stop one day and you see a car just slowly pull over to the side and shit, it got a flat. Then all of a sudden the window wind down and shit, and this fucking Jay-Z or some shit, and he like, yo, could you help me with my tire or some shit like that? That's not the time for you to fan out. There's a glitch in the matrix. Meaning there's something that happened in the matrix that allowed you to benefit. That's what a glitch is. When you playing a video game and the fucking boss is shooting all this whatever, and you try not to get hit, and there's a specific spot that you could keep your character in, and it would never get hit, and that's how you get to the next level, right? That's the glitch. You know what I'm saying? That's the glitch. So what happened is you're sitting over here now, and you're sitting over here now, or like Red Dead Redemption, you getting fucking fish and put it on the back of the horse or some shit, going to sell it, and then you got a glitch where it could keep respawning, and you can keep making money. You know what I'm saying? It's a glitch. You don't sit there and look at the glitch and be like, wow, that's amazing. No, you take advantage of the glitch, before they fix the glitch. And that's what we're not understanding, because that's what the purpose of the news is. The news controls us. It controls our emotions. So what it does is, when we're supposed to be strategizing and planning, checking our temperature. Just like what they did with the banks when the banks failed. They had a stress test, right, for the banks to see if the economy or the economic system is under some type of financial stress or conditions. Can the banks sustain themselves? can they weather those storms? So they tested the stress of the banks. That's right now, black people, you getting your stress test. They checking your temperature right now, and they ain't looking for corona. You see what I'm saying? So when you're sitting down over here now and your money tight because you done missed two checks, and I'm not saying that on some high mighty bullshit.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If I miss 2 checks, I'm fucked up too. But what I'm saying is, you're supposed to look at your situation and be like, if I'm missing 2 checks, I'm fucked up. I need to be in a position where I at least got 2 checks up. I don't want to be in that position that I was in. I don't want to be in that. That corona shit made me look at things a little bit serious when it comes to finance. Right. That corona thing got me more serious when it comes to health. That corona thing got me more serious when it comes, because I got laid off at my job. So I don't want to work for nobody. I want to start my own business. That corona shit, you see what I'm saying? That's where your mind should be at. The news got your mind thinking, oh, woe is me, I might die. Go ahead, folks.
No, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of times what prevents us from doing that is be like some nonsense. So like some new clothes out, you know what I'm saying? The latest jewelry, you know what I'm saying? A social event. I'm going to the concert, you know what I'm saying? I get this, you know, women getting their hair done, you know, like stuff that you really can go without, you know what I'm saying? That you don't need, but you're gonna invest that shit in something else, you know what I'm saying? And me, I know I've been a victim of just being a consumer, just buying clothes or, you know what I'm saying, and it's just shit that I really don't need. Well, the only thing I'm trying to say is no excuse right now. You know what I'm saying? If you just waste your time, if you don't got no excuse, there's no need to buy sneakers. I know the you know, the places are saying, like, they throwing deals right now. Macy's and all type of shit, you know what I'm saying? I'll be looking at shit like, no, I don't need it. They focus on that you pay this, or, you know, invest this and this. And, you know, that's just speaking from a person who, you know, shit, you grew up wearing, like, polo. I don't want to say, like, I had everything, but, you know, we wearing new sneakers and, you know, just being into that. You know, New York City kids and shit. Like, you want to get fresh and shit. That was part of the whole culture and shit. So it's like, you know, just break away from that. No excuse right now. So if you're thinking about just making that reckless spending, you know what I'm saying, or that item that you really don't need because there's a sale for it, you know what I'm saying, just remember that these companies, they hurt it too. So they just trying to find a way to bring money in, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, don't be a part of that, you know what I'm saying? Save the money for yourself and, you know, do something else with it. But you know, the stock market is down. Groupon is under $1. Check into that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's you know, try to make, but don't be somebody else's palm, basically, man. It's like, save your money right now, you know what I'm saying? Save your money.
I think it's distraction. I think it's distractions because what you said something that really struck me. Because you can't, there's nothing open. So it's like, you sitting around and shit, and what you about to do, buy an outfit? And go with it. Like, what, like, there's nothing open.
Nothing.
See, so if you in a position, yeah, you can't, even if you in a situation where you're not working and you got an apartment, yo, you got to call your lease and your people and shit like that, and you got to let them know what it is that you're not paying. They cannot kick you out by law. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, this is really not the time to be panicking and worrying and praying and all this other sucker shit. All you need to be doing is sitting down and reflecting. This ain't the time to be arguing with your woman and all. This is the time to be reflecting. This is the time to sit there and actually look at yourself and look at your life and say, yo, is this where I want to be at? Is this like this is the time where you're supposed to like when they tell you when you get locked up, they be like, yo, God sat me down and I was able to really You know what I'm saying? Like, let that be this time. Just only difference is you ain't got to do no jail time. But right now, you sitting down, reflect on your life, man. See where you at in life. See where you at currently. And say to yourself, is this where I want to be at and move on? Moving forward? Is this where I want to be? Because guess what? When them checks come in next week, then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get that money, and we're going to try to use that money to make us feel good by blowing it. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're going to do that to make us feel good. But
I ain't even think
we need
about
to be
that.
reflecting.
I didn't even think
Yeah,
about that.
we can't wait until that.
That's coming in, and I didn't even make that point thinking of that. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be at home, nothing to do. That direct deposit going to come in, $1,200, whatever it is, and you're going to be right on, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be tempting. And they're going to have the sales because, again, these companies, they need to bring money in, too. They got to furlough workers and shit like that. The stores is closed. So what better way to have a 40% off sale? Because 40% off is better than nothing, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're going to start seeing those, you know what I'm saying? You're going to see more and more, you know, pay for the things you need. You're behind on your rent and you didn't pay with that. Don't buy some bullshit. Make sure you can get down. You can still have an apartment when this shit is all over with, you know what I'm saying? And just do the things you're supposed to do with it, you know what I'm saying? And if you don't like the way you are, you know, the situation you're in right now, self-reflect on that. You got nothing but time right now, you know what I'm saying?
Nothing but fucking time. And that's the beauty. So look on, so it all goes back to the original point, Smoke. Stop looking at this shit through the eyes of the weak. Stop looking at the coronavirus through the eyes of the weak. Stop looking at this shit through the eyes of the fucking weak. The strong survive. The fittest of the fit survive. You got to move strong and say to yourself, okay, now that this coronavirus shit popped off, what I'm going to do next? What I'm going to do when it's over? What I'm going to do with that paper? What I'm going to do with these stocks being down? What I'm going to do with businesses closing, yet the president's saying he wants the economy open and want these businesses to reopen? So how can I be in position to be one of those quote-unquote businesses that's quote-unquote reopening, if you get my drift? See, but you can't think like that if you're worrying about, oh, my God, more black, 70% of black people died in Louisiana. You're not thinking about what happens next because they got you dealing with sorrow. They sucking on your sorrow. So you just giving them sorrow and worry instead of worrying about what do I do next. That's the part of the game that we need to be worrying about. But we're not worrying about that because now we're listening to the new narrative. Why is so many black people dying of the coronavirus? Because they was already dying of underlying diseases. That's why. If you got a bunch of black people smoke on in a coma, right, and electricity cuts out, right, and the generators don't cut on, and these people that's hooked up, plugged up into the wall and shit, and they die. When somebody be like, oh, my God, can you believe that the power surge killed this many black people that's in a coma, that's in a vegetable state? Right. They was already dying. The electricity was just keeping them alive. But now that the power surge kicked in and cut the electricity out, they die, and now we acting like that's all black people going to die because the electricity got cut out. No, these people was already dying. And like I said, condolences to them and condolences to their family because I'm not making light of their deaths, and these are people. These are sick people. These aren't healthy people. These are sick people who died. Now, when we understand that and we stand on the side of strength and we deal with the majority of black people who is living, who have fought the virus and won, who is immune to the virus, who is asymptomatic, then we say to ourselves, well, what's the difference between them and us? What do these sick people have that making them die that these healthy black people that have that makes them live? They don't talk about that. They keep telling you about the sick people.
Right.
So all of y'all who not sick need to be worrying about what's the next step. Let the sick people deal with what the sick people got to deal with. Let the weak deal with what the weak got to deal with. But the strong have to go on to the next plan. What is next? What's next when this check come in? What do you do next? What is your plan? Do you plan to invest it? Do you plan to just to live and survive off it? What is your next steps?
Right.
What's your next move? These are the things to worry about, because guess what? When the government say, yo, we ain't paying no more, take your asses back to work, they mean it. They mean it.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit over there. You know what I'm saying, Smoke?
Yeah, it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
They're taking you off the titty. You get yanked off the titty. You're not getting slowly ripped off the titty. No, you're getting yanked off the titty. They throwing you on the fucking floor and say, all right, now walk. You crying and all that shit. No, that's it. No more milk. So, strong, think about what happens next and what's your plan next. Don't worry about the dying and the dead. You need to be standing on living and worry about what's going on with life. The dying, y'all just have to worry about surviving and waiting until this wave play out. Other than that, you need to take shit to strengthen your immune system. And with that, we gone. Smoke, you have anything you want to say to the people before we leave?
Yo, thanks for the support. You know what I'm saying? Another week in the building. Stay safe out there. You heard?